And we'll come back again. You've heard what he said. It's not as if that the Senate is unmindful of the urgency of this matter. Group Captain Ojikutu, he's also thinking that good stakeholders like yourself who have been following issues like this, as you highlighted, pointing out what has been happening since 2010, perhaps you can give us more of solutions to all of this. We're looking at the Minna Airport, which is a closer proximity to Abuja, but the road is bad. And some are also talking about Makodi Jos, but again, these look to have the same, almost the same, if not farther distance as that of Kaduna to Abuja. So, what other alternative do you think we can have at the moment as we fix this? Because for you and many Nigerians, safety first.
Like I said, let's not rule out completely the international airline going to Kaduna or even to Minna. Minna is closer to Abuja. The unfortunate thing about Minna is that the road between Minna and Abuja is in a very deplorable state. Whether they can reactivate it, because I look at a situation where you are going to pick a passenger that probably have stayed about 1 hour, 2 hours at the terminal in Lagos, and it flies 1 hour plus to Kaduna. Then you are going to transport him by road again from Kaduna to Abuja, 2 hours, either by road or by rail. That is about 6 hours, enough time to fly from London to Abuja. That's an international passenger that has flown 6 hours to Lagos. And you're going to subject him to another 6 hours on the road. So why don't you subject him to 1 hour flight or 40 minutes flight to Minna? Repair that road. Whatever money we want to spend at Kaduna, let us spend it on that road, that 100-kilometer road between Minna and Abuja. The only problem is that control the frequency of flights to Minna because of the state, because of the size of the apron in Minna. The Minna apron might not be able to take probably more than 4 or 5 aircrafts. Control the frequency of flight that goes in there and out of that place, so that you can use that one only for domestic flights, not for international flights. That is the way I will have loved us to look into it. And that's why I said, let us remove all this political coloration or economic coloration that everybody is looking at.
And for the international flights, because they must come to Nigeria. So what's your suggestion?
Come to Nigeria, but for 6 weeks. Suleiman, for 6 weeks only, not 6 months. For only 6. What we are talking about is for 6 weeks to repair that place. For only 6 weeks, let us manage the international flight in Lagos. Port Harcourt was closed for almost 2 years. And all the international flights going to Port Harcourt were diverted to Lagos. Look at the distance of Lagos to Lagos. All international flights that were going to Port Harcourt were diverted to Lagos for 2 years. The only problem in Minna now is that it has no night landing facilities. The period we are going to use Minna now is going to be between between March and April. The inclement weather of visibility or Hamatan will have gone by that time. They will have clear visibility in landing in Minna. Only 6 weeks. So every solution that I had the distinguished senator giving is a long-term solution.
So in all of this, you know what comes to mind?
7 years, but we didn't solve it. Let us solve it and get out of it in 6 weeks. Then we can now start talking about second runway, where the minister said they want to concession because there's no money to even build the second runway again. They want to concession it to somebody that will collect money on it. So these are we should get all these politics out of our way now.
You know, in trying to get all of this sorted out, I think Group Captain Ojikutu, one would be forced to ask the question, what exactly are the state of our airports? If we don't have landing facilities for the Minna Airport, and you also mentioned a couple of other airports, it would seem as if the aviation sector is in need of a big attention, national attention in that sector.
Suleiman, you are absolutely right. We are just touching the surface. If we go deep now, we won't finish it on this program. Look at what happened just because of how many few days ago on on visibility of 300 meters, 800 meters, the aircraft cannot land, the aircraft cannot take off. I mean, it's very shameful. Very shameful that now, when aircraft were landing in that same type of weather about 10 years ago, 5 to 10 years ago, now we cannot land. Every aircraft stays on the ground. Just like the runway that I told you should have a maintenance program depending on the number of landings. Our navigational aids, both airport approach aids and the runway approach aids, are needed to be calibrated. The ILS is supposed to be calibrated every six months. And I asked the question during that time, when did we calibrate this ILS last? Why are the aircraft sitting on the ground? When did we calibrate ILS last? That is the question I felt we should be asking. And every problem in aviation today, if we want to be fair with ourselves, is on the head of the NCA. Because that's the only authority in aviation, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. That the airlines are owing is the problem of NCA. That there is no fuel is the problem of NCA. That they have kind of foreign exchange scarcity is NCA.
How is that the problem of NCA when we talk about non-availability of Jet A1?
Oh, beautiful. There is no reason why, when they are saying there is no fuel, there is fuel. Because airlines are flying. Those who have money to pay are flying. The ones that are not flying are those who are owing that cannot pay. That's the issue. NNPC came out the other day, they brought fuel in, there is fuel. Only for those who can pay. Those who are not paying are the ones that are on the ground. It is not only fuel marketers that they are owing FAN. And that is why FAN cannot have money to repair that runway in Abuja. They are owing NAMA. That's why NAMA do not have money for the ILS to do calibration. They are owing virtually everywhere. These are airlines that are collecting cash. They collect cash. They do not collect check. They collect cash. So why are they owing? Even insurance of their aircraft, they are owing. And it is the responsibility of NCA to check their balance sheet every month. When did they do that last? They are just sitting down there like a lame dog. And all these problems are coming. The National Assembly is sitting down there, they are asking questions. All they are doing now is to start putting stumbling block into a genuine intent. I mean, if the airlines, if most of the airline operators cannot follow the regulations, let them pass the aircraft, let them go and farm. There's need for rice now. Let them go to the farm and rice. They come in within 8 to 10 years, they collapse. What is the lifespan? SH by now should be finding out what is the lifespan of an average airline in this country. They just come in, make money. They are being supported by political exposed people, either international assembly or wherever. They will owe. And nobody is asking them to pay.
Good Captain Ojukwu, if I may come in here, the question about the regulators and the airline operators, how is it that they are not enforcing the rules? Because these are all laid out for them when they came in to do business.
That is the question. That's the question we need to ask them. That airline are owing and they will run for Aso Rock in those days. Somebody in Aso Rock is going to pick phone and call the chief executive of the agency that they are owing to pamper justice. For 8 years. In 2008, the minister then called all of them. You are owing, you are owing, you are owing. How do you want to pay? Spread your debt for about 4 years and start paying. While they were trying to implement that, the minister was removed. They went to the Aso Rock. They got intervention of about 200 billion. They shared it. The money was meant for them to pay their debts. They did not pay debts. If they had paid their debts, particularly to the service provider, government service provider, government didn't make provision for that. Even when some of us were asking, you are giving such money out. What is the debt portfolio of each of these airlines? Nobody found out. One of them in particular, who owns Air Nigeria, that was just 4 years old in the system, tell me, how did he acquire a debt of 35 billion? When those that have been in the system for more than 10 years were getting intervention fund of 5 billion, 10 billion, 15 billion. This is a guy that just came into the system with just about 3 or 4 aircrafts. Within 2 years, he got 35 billion. Where is that airline today? Nobody's asking. The National Assembly, they are sitting down there. They are not asking that question. They knew the The same Senator Uzodinma was the chairman of the committee that investigated that issue in 2012. The same Senator Uzodinma was the chairman of the Senate committee until recently in that same National Assembly that went about again to investigate that case. The question is, what did you get out of that? So they shouldn't continue deceiving the country with what they are doing at the National Assembly. Like I said, they do not have a record. That's what I'm hearing from the Senate, the civil senators sitting down there. They have no record about what they are doing. So if they have record about what they are doing, they shouldn't come here and tell us that the ministry didn't tell them this. The ministry needed to come and tell them so that they wait.
You know, Group Captain Ojikudu, it's a good thing that you were able to be on the program today, even though via phone. And I'm happy that the Senate spokesperson is there. He will respond. But we'd like to thank you very much for speaking with us. And we're hoping that in the days ahead, you'll be here live in the studios to share more insights on developments in the aviation industry.